What's going on, guys? This is Derek Ledwidge from Strive Fitness and Performance. Today's video is a doozy, right? It is an important one for many people. It is how to survive the summer, right? And the main reason why I'm going through this is we've had a lot of different strategy sessions with our clients right now. We do them every 90 days. And we try to get everyone on one before summer. And that's mostly because just like the holidays, that is usually when people fall off track, right? Times get a little bit busy, right? Their commitments are a little bit down. They got the results before, and now all of a sudden they're, okay, I'm good, right? And so now I'm just going to be really busy over here, right? And the main reason why that ends up happening and why that's a bad thing in reality is when you're not really always focused on at least maintaining or focused a little bit. Now, all of a sudden, 3 months go by and you're up 10, 15 pounds, the pounds that you just lost over the spring and stuff like that. So that's why you're chronically always going back and forth between the same 10 and 15 pounds and turn into a chronic dieter. That's majority of those people. More than likely, there's a lot of people watching this video that can say, oh my God, that's me. All right. And so I think a lot of the things that we're going to talk about today might be a couple aha moments. More than likely, you're going to hear a lot of different things that you're like, wow, that is me. He's talking about me and stuff like that. And so that's really what I wanted to talk about, just because I've had the same conversations with a lot of our clients right now. And so if you take anything from today's video, even if it's one or two things, you'll be all the better as we go into July, August, maybe even in September, depending on when you get back on track, right? And so hopefully you do. Hopefully you take any of this. As always, if you're watching this live, comment live in the comment section. If you're watching the replay, post that as well. That way we can see, I can see how people, when they're doing this. And as always, if you have questions about any of this type of stuff, post in the comment section, because everything gets linked to me anyway, and I'll be able to see it and I'll be able to answer any type of questions. But without further ado, we're going to talk about how to survive this summer so you don't have the same 10, 15 pounds like you did last year. And the process is called Phasic Nutrition. Right? It's not anything common. We talk about it, nutrition periodization, Phasic Nutrition. It's about basically just always having a plan in a nutshell. So that's really what we're going to be talking about today. So again, have a piece of paper while you're writing this down. If you have any questions, feel free to do that. Okay, so I'm going to switch this out a little bit. So Phasic Nutrition. All right. So Phasic Nutrition, basically it is having phases to our nutrition plan. Most people are chronic, just always dieting, right? Or they're not. They're very black and white, right? They're either doing like a 6-week plan or, 6-week challenge, detox diet, whatever it might be. They're very, very black and white. Instead, proper nutrition for people that get results and keep it off go through different phases. Each phase has a different focus. It has a different play in the playbook, right? You're going to hear me talk about like seasons, like sports and stuff like that, right? Even if you're not a sports fanatic or a sports fan or anything like that, basically we go through different seasons, and each season has a different focus, has a different play, has a different action plan, so to speak, because each one has a different goal. Even though your end goal might be weight loss, no one that ever gets results and keeps it off is always dieting. And that's what most people know, right? They know that they did this, they got results, even though it might have been a bad way to do it or they can't repeat it or like that. That's not the topic of today, right? It is, you got results there, that's your play, right? And so now what happens with the other stuff, right? So like I mentioned, no one gets results and keeps them diets year round. Most people in reality only diet about 1 to 2 times. If they do it effectively, they only diet about 1 to 2 times a year, actually focus on it, right? So it's not like they're always, they might be always trying to lose weight, but they're really focused. All their actions are going towards this, right? And so that is basically a fat loss phase. That is a diet, even though everyone says it's a bad word. Not really. You are taking away stuff, right? And sacrificing some things in order to get a result, right? It's the same thing as anything else. If I wanted to gain muscle, my nutrition would change. I would have to work out more, right? Because I want to gain muscle. So my typical day changes, right? I am technically on a diet. I change my nutrition to get a result. That's what dieting is, right? You're changing your nutrition. So in a typical diet plan, a typical fat loss phase is about 12 to 16 weeks. Some might be shorter, right? Some might be longer, and you split it up like with a week or two in between. But a typical one is about 12 to 16 weeks, right? And that's pretty much when life gets in the way, you get burnt out, or the seasons change, right? That's generally what ends up happening, right? Most say they want to make it a lifestyle. Everyone always says it. I want to make this a lifestyle. I want to make this a lifestyle. In reality, when they start that, when they say that, they're actually going on a diet, right? They're not really learning how to create balance. Some do if they do it right, but not really, right? They're really focusing on, tracking macros, doing this, doing that, and they're turning into basically a little bit more stricter diet. Why? Because their goal is fat loss, right? Now, just changing a little bit of different stuff and making a lifestyle, will you get results? Yes. But in reality, your mindset is a little bit different. Your mindset is, I'm doing this, I'm losing weight, right? So if you don't flip that mindset when times are rough, like summer, or times are hard, in reality, your focus is your mindset's always going to be, why am I not losing weight? I'm doing the same things that I did before. Okay, so you don't actually learn how to maintain. So it's a different focus, right? That most people fail off. This is why so many people fail, right? So the main focus should not be how to lose weight. We're very good at losing weight in the United States. That's why there's so many goddamn diets that all work as long as you're consistent, right? It should be, the main focus shouldn't be how to lose weight. It should be how to maintain, right? And this is where people don't focus, and as a result, they fall off, right? Because the only play that they know is how to lose weight. So they're always trying to do that same thing, because if they don't, they gain weight, right? And so then they freak out, they go back, right? So that's their own, that's the only thing they know, right? So it's not their fault. It's the only thing that they were taught. It's the only thing that they know. So it's the only thing that they can hold on to. It's the only play in the playbook, right? In reality, you have to build a more diverse playbook, okay? So when they are done with dieting, most try to continue to do the same thing. Just like I said, when they are done, right? Maybe summer comes up. Okay, I'm still going to try to do the same thing. Why? Because that's the only thing I know, right? It's the only thing they know because it got them results. In reality, it is the wrong play for the situation. It's the same thing when people, a perfect example of this is when people have kids, right? They have kids, right? They lost weight beforehand, right? Doing X, Y, Z. Right? Working out 5 days a week, doing this nutrition plan, whatever, right? Now they have kids. They try to do that same play, but they can't do it. Time constraints. I don't have enough time, stuff like that. In reality, the play has now changed. You have to adjust your play, right? Most of the information is the same, right? Do this, this will happen. In reality, you have to adjust it to make it around your lifestyle, right? Most people don't know how to do that, right? Same thing when you're trying to maintain, right? During the season, right? So now summer is really, really crazy, right? I now have to adjust what I was doing before, right? Just to maintain a little bit, right? And because if you don't do that, it causes frustration because it's not working. Right? Either you're trying to lose weight and the play doesn't work, or times are just hard, right? It's really hard for you to say you're burnt out, you don't have enough time, right? But in reality, you associate your play with weight loss, right? And so your expectations are losing weight all the time. And in reality, that tends to sort of screw people up, right? Because maybe you just can't, during that time because you can't be consistent. When you were consistent, it worked. Right now, you can't be consistent. So now you view yourself as a failure, right? And that's what causes people to stop. That's what causes people to say, fuck it. And now all of a sudden they gain all the way back. So the question becomes, what do you do? You have to come up with a different play in your playbook, right? Either you do that because you can't lose weight, or you do that because now times are hard, right? This is different for each person, right? This can be the summer, right? When times are really hard. I'll show you an example at the bottom with some of the things that I did, right? This is what's going, like doing this process is going to help you create clarity within your schedule, right? Most people say, I don't have enough time, or I'm really busy, right? And so now, which is true. They're not saying that you're lying, right? It is true, right? But you're saying you're busy because you can't do what you did before to lose the weight, right? Perfect example of this is I'm super busy, so I can't work out 5 days a week. That's what I did before. Maybe you did that in the spring because you had a whole bunch of time. So now you view everything under that as a failure because that's what got you results. We're not trying to get results at this point. We're trying to maintain. Like I said, it's easy to get results if you're consistent. It's easy to get results in 6 weeks if you're consistent. But it's really freaking hard to maintain those when you can't do this, right? And so now, like, that's what most people should focus on. That's why most people always are losing and gaining the same 10 pounds because they're not focusing on when they're not focused on fat loss, right? And this is what creates a little bit of clarity, right? And I'll explain why this process does and why it is massively important to do it right now in the summer, right? Because technically it's most people's off season, right? And so as I go down with the Phasic Nutrition, I'm not going to go into what each season is. That's a different video. Basically, Phasic Nutrition is phases, right? It is preseason, season, postseason, off season, right? Just like a typical sport. Preseason, it's a transition from off season to season. Season is your diet phase. This is when I'm all in. Postseason is a transition, so it's no longer a shit show, right? You're easing off of it. And then off season is your off season. You're not technically focused on fat loss, right? Generally, the hardest thing, that's really what we're talking about right now, is this. This is the hardest season by far because there's no goal, right? And it is really super freaking hard, right? And so that is what Phasic Nutrition is. Okay, so what do you do, right? We just talked about why people need to do this, right? All of the things that probably got you to say, oh my God, that sounds like me and stuff like that. We talked a little bit about what Phasic Nutrition is. So now what should you do? Technically, most people are in an off season right now. You might not be, right? Summer is actually my season, right? I don't drink. And I mean, I go hang out with friends and stuff like that, but I'm a lot more active in the summer, right? I can go run outside, stuff like that. So the summer is actually when I really, really do all of my fat loss phase, right? And usually anytime I do like a fat loss phase or a photo shoot or something like that, I end in the fall, right? And so this is my big time to do that. Everyone is different. I'm bringing this up right now because most people, it is the summer, right? So you're saying, okay, I'm really busy. I can't do this. I'm not going to focus on that, right? If you don't focus on anything, fast forward, and now you're going to be up, like 10 pounds, something like that, right? So plan of attack, what should you do? I'm going to give you what I usually do with clients. I've done this about 5 times in the past week. Exactly this, right? So plan of attack, get a piece of paper, write down bad, good, maybe, right? And you're going to write down why each month or each season or anything like that is under each, right? A couple of things you can think of. Vacations. When do you have a lot of vacations? When do you have your big vacation, right? When are you really busy with work? When are you really busy with family? Now, again, some people, it might beat all of these. And if you say that to yourself in reality, write it down, right? Because there is a time frame when you can really focus on fat loss and when you really need to focus on not being a shit show, right? There's different times where you have to really focus, right? We're going to gut down and really focus on not going nuts, right? So break that down. There can be other things, right? And obviously there's things that happen a little bit in between, right? And you're going to break down when you're going to do a fat loss phase and where you're going to maintain, right? It's massively important to do this, even if your focus is always, I'm not at my goal yet, so I should lose weight. If you do that, you won't get the results. I swear to God, I do this for a living. I've been doing this for years, right? If you do this, it creates clarity, and I'll explain why doing this, when I explain the example, helps you along the way, right? I already said it usually because it brings clarity, right? It gets you a little bit more focused, laser focused on not the other stuff. It keeps you grounded, right? Which is massively important, because if you get caught up into not being grounded, then now all of a sudden, again, you very quickly turn into fuck it zone. All right. So that is the plan of attack. That's what you're going to do. I'm going to show you an example of what I did with one of the clients. Okay. An example. This is one of the clients that we broke down this. And again, this takes like 15 minutes, right? This is a conversation that me and her had for about 15 minutes. Okay. Bad. Summer, right? Summer and fall. Main reasons: summer, a lot of grad parties, a lot of get-togethers, camping a lot, vacations, especially July. July, there's vacations almost every other weekend, right? So it's very, very busy. So that's the big thing. So we lumped in July and August, right? End of June-ish, but definitely July and August, right? Fall, September and October. Why? Kids sports, right? They're into football, right? And that's the football season. So they're very, very busy during those times. Okay, so those are bad times. Maybe November and December. Now, even though these are the holidays, that's not a big deal for them. Why? Because they're not busy. This person has a handle on nutrition. She did very, very well when we were doing fat loss phases and stuff like that. November, December are not that big a deal. Some people it is, right? Yours might be different. So we're not probably going to do fat loss phase in here, but it'll be relatively easy to maintain during this time. Why? Because they're not really busy, right? And then April, a couple weeks there just because of spring break, right? That's usually a big thing, right? Good. January, February, March, May, and June. So we have a lot of times. Basically, winter and spring are golden for them, right? And pretty much, right, we have basically 2 12-week spins right here. So we can do a lot of work right here, but none of that really matters if we turn into shit show here, right? So this is their game plan. Well, what are we going to do now? Okay, so January, February, March, we're going to do a fat loss phase, right? We're going to take a little bit of a break right here, right? And then we're going to finish off May and June. Now, the hard part is there is 16 weeks right here that are really difficult, right? So now, and the really difficult ones turn into November and December, right? So if we go, and this is just maybe, so if we go full shit show here, and then it stays here, now we're just making it back, we're making it back to baseline here, right? And that's what most people do, right? So this is their plan. So why is this important? Why will this help you? Okay. Well, the big reason is simply because, again, it creates clarity, right? It creates a game plan of when you're going to do it, right? So now, mindset wise, instead of we're always trying to lose weight, well, now it's okay, January and February, this is my time. I need to get my shit together, right? Maybe you mess up in January. Okay. You don't get consistent, stuff happens. Okay. That's fine. I still have these, right? But if I don't get my shit together, I'm going to miss my season, right? So I need to get on point, right? If I want to. Obviously it's different, right? Likewise, right? Summer comes around, right? Or June, let's say June, right? End of June, we're like, oh, okay, that's going to be my preseason, right? I'm winding down, right? I'm prepping. I'm getting my mind ready for the summer instead of just going into it full shit show. I'm getting my mind right. The plan is now different. I'm like, okay, what's my schedule going to be like here? What am I going to focus on so it doesn't turn into a shit show, right? And then I survive this. Likewise, it's here. I survive this by focusing on the things that are happening right now, right? So doing it this way, this is what we do with our nutrition clients, right? The conversation that I have, we do it with every client, but this is what we do for our nutrition plan, our nutrition clients. There's always a next step. There's always a, hey, no big deal. This is our bad time. Let's focus on this instead, right? So now you maintain, you don't gain, and then now we're ready to go all in when times are easy. Most people don't think about that way. So they think they should be consistent. They can't be. So then all of a sudden they view themselves as a failure, right? So that's why this is massively important. That's why we do this during the summer or their off season or something like that. Whenever their off season is, we might do in the winter. Okay. We break down the year. What is it going to look like? Does it change? Okay. Did your work schedule change? Does your kid's schedule change? Because I guarantee you, right? Last year, this was not an issue, right? This is actually when she started at Strive 2 years ago, not last year, 2 years ago, right? This is when she started. So she actually lost all of her weight that she lost here. I think she lost 15 pounds, I think, during this time. She killed it. Okay. What was different? Her boys were not in football, right? They were busy, not nearly as busy. So that is what really freaked her out, right? Because this was something different, right? This was typical. This was always there. This was the thing that messed her up, right? So then this messed up, and then basically all the way to here messed up, right? So she had an iffy time right here, just getting back on track, right? So we broke this down into her game plan. Now, each one of these has a different play, right? Whatever I use here to lose weight, I am not going to use here, right? It doesn't work that way, right? The framework stays the same, but now my focus is a little bit different. Maybe I don't work out 5 days a week. Maybe I work out 2 and I get my steps in, right? Maybe that's it. Maybe I work on just making my own meals or not snacking. It might be something small, right? But each play in the playbook is different, slightly, right? It's a different focus, a different mindset. And you do that, fast forward a year, now all of a sudden you're down, right? Because now if I do this right, I might, let's say I lose 20 pounds here, right? 20, 25, let's just say that, right? Maybe I do that. I go through this, maintaining, maybe you gain 3, 4 back. Let's just say that, right? 3, 4 back, another 1 here, right? So let's say 6 pounds, right? So I lose 20, 21, something like that, gain 6, gain 5, right? Just because this is relatively long. This is like half the year, right? Then I do it again, right? If I do it right, I can very easily lose this during this time and plus some more, right? Now all of a sudden you're down again, right? And you just keep on doing that until you get to your goal, until you change something up, right? That's basically what that looks like, the Phasic Nutrition, right? And that's pretty much it, right? That's what you want to do. You break it down, right? We do this for our clients, for our nutrition clients. We do it for our regular clients as well. And it makes it a little bit more different, right? The difference between our regular clients and our nutrition clients is our nutrition clients, we guide them through it. Our regular clients that are just like workouts and stuff like that, we create the plan with them, right? And then it's up to them to implement it because we're not like coaching them through the nutrition side, right? And so that's really what it's all about, right? That's what we look at when it comes to nutrition, when it comes to Phasic Nutrition. Okay. So hopefully you guys got something out of that. And if you did, I'd love to hear it. If you have questions, feel free to comment in there. Hopefully you guys took out a lot of information from there. It is massively important. We do this for everyone. It's usually a game changer when you sort of break it down for each and every single client. If you have questions, or if you want myself to go through your plan and create what I just did, what I just showed for that client, reach out to me, comment me, or give a little hand raise in the comment section, and I can very easily set up a call with you. It's a non-sales call, right? So I'm not selling you in anything. It's like a 15-minute call. We just break down your year, and then we set you, and then it's like, hey, have at it, right? If at the end of the day you want help with it or you want some accountability, then obviously we can talk about that. But the call is basically 15 seconds. If you feel like you need that, or you want to a little bit more of that clarity, like I said, give a little hand raise, give a me in the comment section, and then I will reach out and we'll set something up. Other than that, I hope you guys have a good night, and I'll talk to you guys later.